Hello everyone and welcome to TaxBandits' very first webinar, Vendor Payments and How to Stay Compliant. My name is Jarissel and I'm joined here with my colleague Lauren, and we're the product managers for TaxBandits, a third-party e-file provider specializing in business tax compliance. So as you guys are logging in, please feel free to chat in any questions, or if you're having any trouble viewing our screen, please do let us know. As we get started, I do want to mention that while we have years of experience, we are not tax professionals. So if you have any specific questions, please do consult the IRS or contact your local tax professional for further guidance. Alrighty, let's get started. Okay, so we wanted to start off by defining the vendor. Many are unaware, or maybe are even shocked to learn, who is considered a vendor versus an independent contractor. The terms vendor and independent contractor are usually used interchangeably and refer to those who are self-employed, thus they control when and how they work. A few examples of our vendors are assistants, drivers, seasonal help, child care professionals, third-party rental agencies, and attorneys, just to name a few. But depending on the industry, it can be difficult to determine whether your independent contractor is an employee versus a vendor. So here we've listed a list of 3 factors to evaluate whether an individual is an employee or a vendor. First, we want to start off by behavior control. This really means if a worker dictates how the job is done and does not rely on supplies and training from the payer, then they're most likely an independent contractor. An example of this is chances are your plumber is not asking you to borrow a wrench. The second factor we want to keep in mind is our financial control. So this is determining what is their opportunity for profit versus loss, what's their method of payment, and the investments made versus the services available. This can mean that they have invested in their own equipment and are typically paid on a case-by-case basis. And lastly, we do want to look at the relationship between you and the vendor. And so we want to observe any benefits that are offered or the permanency of the relationship. Offering benefits is a clear indicator that you're working with an employee rather than an independent contractor. I also wanted to go ahead and note that a contract between the payer and a worker stating whether they are an employee or an independent contractor is not sufficient evidence of a correct classification of a relationship. So I do want to go ahead and emphasize the importance of distinguishing between a vendor and an employee and how crucial that is for tax compliance, because that determines really whether you withhold Social Security or Medicare tax, and if it's filed incorrectly, could really result in major penalties. So now that we've thoroughly defined what who the independent contractor is, we've probably realized that we definitely work with them regularly, but then at what point do we need to report that to the IRS? Believe it or not, if you've paid someone who you've determined already as a non-employee $600 or more for services provided during the year, a Form 1099 miscellaneous needs to be completed. So a 1099 miscellaneous form is exactly what it sounds like. You're reporting different or miscellaneous types of non-employee wages. As a business owner, you guys can imagine how stressful it can be to make sure that you're staying compliant with the IRS or even understanding what all that entails. But as long as you have a clear record of who is an employee versus who are your vendors that you've paid throughout the year, you'll be set to file your 1099 miscellaneous form. We also wanted to make sure that you know that when you're filing, it's important that the right people get the correct copy of the 1099 form. For instance, the copy A is sent directly to the IRS, while copy 1 is sent to the State Department when applicable, of course. And then your recipients will receive copies B and 2 in order to file their own taxes. The reason I said when applicable earlier is because your state may not always require you to file, but it's a good thing to go ahead and check their rules regarding the 1099. Fortunately and surprisingly, the IRS started a program that makes it a little easier for filers, which is called the Combined Federal and State Filing Program. Basically, this program ensures that the IRS will forward a copy to the state that you're reporting for so that you don't have to. So really, it's one less step for you. But also, here at TaxBandits, we do assist you with all of this, including mailing the copies to the correct recipient, mailing the correct copies, to the recipient. But we'll go ahead and discuss that a little bit later in terms of what your filing options are. I'll go ahead and take a moment now and hand it over to Lauren, who'll dive in a little bit deeper into the 1099 filing process. Lauren?
Thanks, Jarissel. So when you're filing the 1099 form, you will need to have the following information. The information of the payer who is issuing the form, so the name and the EIN or social security number, mailing address, contact name, and phone number. You also need to make sure the person receiving the form, you have all the information for them. So their name, the EIN or social security number, and mailing address. You'll need the total amount of non-employee compensation you are reporting federally and any amount of money reported on the form that is subject to state tax. So what do you include in the 1099 federal amount? Again, this is any non-employee compensation you pay independent contractors, not your employees, for any services they perform for your business. Include fees, commissions, and awards for services performed as a non-employee. As previously stated, you must issue a 1099 form if you pay more than $600 in non-employee compensation. Since you may have multiple contractors doing work for your business, you may forget to ask for the required information needed to issue a 1099 at the end of the year. If you need to request any of your recipients' information to complete your filing, you can send them a W-9 form. This form will allow the contractor to fill out the correct name, mailing address, and taxpayer identification number, so the 1099 form can be sent to the IRS correctly the first time. If you're in need of a W-9, let us know at the end of the presentation. We here at TaxBandits offer the W-9 for free to all of our users. So the quicker you get your W-9 back, the quicker you can start the filing process, since your recipients will need to receive their tax documents before they can complete their personal or business taxes themselves, which is why staying up to date with the IRS deadlines is so important. You will need to file with the IRS any 1099 miscellaneous forms that report in box 7, which is specifically non-employee compensation, by January 31st. You will also need to make sure the form is sent out to your contractor by the state. February 28th is the paper filing deadline for all other 1099 forms. And here's just one example of the pros when you e-file. If you choose to electronically file all other 1099 forms, you will automatically have an extra month to file. April 2nd is the deadline this year, since March 31st is on a weekend. If for any reason you miss these deadlines, beware of the penalties that will follow. Penalties can range from $50 per return to $260 each, depending on when you do file. If the IRS believes you intentionally disregarded the deadline to give your recipient their form, do be aware the penalty is $530 per return. So now that you guys know the who, what, when, where, and why, Jarissel is going to tackle the how of filing the 1099 forms.
Okay, so there are two basic options for filing your 1099. You have paper filing and electronic filing. Technically, both can be done by a third-party provider, but I'll be honest, we here at TaxBandits are a little biased when it comes to e-filing, specifically with a third party. For one, you avoid the hassle of obtaining your own TCC, which stands for the Transmitter Control Code. TCCs are notoriously difficult to obtain, and even once you've obtained them, then the question becomes, well, what are you going to do with it? Which is why filers rely on products like TaxBandits to make sure that forms are transmitted to the IRS directly, hassle-free. We also provide automatic error checks that make sure that your 1099s don't get transmitted until all the required information is filled out. Our goal is to really save you time and energy so that you can focus on what matters most, which is your business. We also, with our e-filing, you don't have to make sure that you've ordered the proper scannable form, because it's our job to make sure that your forms are formatted correctly and are ready for transmission. We also want to let you know where your forms are in the process. So we do that with automatic alerts so that you don't have to guess what status your returns are in, but again, you're kept in the know. We here at TaxBandits want to eliminate a lot of the stress involved with business tax filing, and we definitely believe that we've done that through our automated web-based product. So there you have it. That was really our very first webinar, and I hope that you feel a little bit more equipped to conquer the upcoming tax season. Obviously, before we go, we do want to open the floor for any questions regarding the information that we provided or the services that we offer. I'll go ahead and leave you a couple of moments for that. And I'll go ahead and start answering some of the questions that are coming in, but even as we're answering questions, feel free to go ahead and chat in your questions, and we'll get to as many as we can. Alrighty, let me see here. Here we have a question from Annie. Do you offer the 1096 or where can I go to file one? Well, Annie, we do offer the 1096. Since the 1096 is the annual summary and transmittal for the 1099, we do offer that form free with e-filing of 1099. The IRS does not require it to be e-filed, but TaxBandits.com, we will go ahead and generate that 1096 for your records. So yes. Here I have Brian. Is TaxBandits.com available year-round or just during the tax season? Well, we are. Short answer is yes, we're open and we're around year-round. Since we deal with a wide range of different tax forms within our company, we're available all year long with extended support hours on deadline days as well. So do keep that in mind. Lauren, you want to take a couple?
Yeah, so Jim chatted in, when can I start filing 1099s? Well, the IRS will start accepting 1099 forms January 16th, but if you are e-filing, and especially with us, TaxBandits.com, we actually opened up pre-filing for 1099 forms, so you will be able to send those in. Again, contact us if you have any questions regarding that process. We do have a question from Olivia. How is your pricing set up? So TaxBandits, and we will show you now just a quick glimpse of our website. Give us 1 second. So if you go to TaxBandits.com, we do have our pricing page available. We have a tiered pricing system. As you can see, it's broken up into federal and package because, again, make sure you are getting your recipient copies sent out by January 31st. So if you enter in the number of forms exactly that you have, we will tell you, based on our tiered pricing system, what you will be paying and what you will be getting. So I do want to mention, again, if you have any questions regarding our 1099 filing process, we'll be happy to answer any questions. We do offer a wide range of tax forms, so our contact information is on the screen, and we'll be happy to help you.
Alrighty. Well, if you guys have any questions, we will go ahead and have this webinar posted on our YouTube page. Hold on, I think we might have a hand raised here. Give me 1 moment. Well, again, if you guys have any questions following the webinar, please do let us know. We have a stellar support team right here in Rock Hill that would be happy to speak a little bit more about the benefits of e-filing along with all of our other services. I do appreciate you guys joining us, and please look out for more upcoming webinars in the new year. And happy holidays. Thank you guys so much.